It's starting to look a lot like Christmas. We're tying off to these pylons here.
We are heading to our friend's marina for a Christmas potluck. Project of the day, while it's sunny, is to try to get rid of some of the leaks.
Crazy how moldy.
Disgusting.
Having fun in my nook here.
But now, time to move forward.
This thing's seen better days.
Trying to clean up the boat while we're driving.
Pretty big day today. We did 55 miles. But I may have found another culprit.
It's not fair, I don't see with my eye.
Early morning, leaving. Excited, we're gonna meet up with our Port Colborne posse. It's gonna be awesome. Mark and Margaret and Tom. But we had to leave really early because we got like, I don't know, 45 nautical miles and we gotta get there before 3:10 when the bridge closes. So let's do it. We're moving at a good like between 7 and 8 knots. We're making good time. I like it. I like it a lot. It's starting to look a lot like Christmas with lots of rain in the skies. It's a rainy Christmas. It's not very nice. Well, it's Christmas Eve anyway, but yeah, not liking the raininess. I want blue skies, nice bright sunshine, not a rainy Christmas. If I want anything, it's gotta be snow, but I think we're a little too south for snow. We are currently heading underneath the Nassau Causeway. This twin bridge is pretty cool. We're getting really close to our friends and our Christmas celebration. Eating some wonderful lunch here on the Canaveral Barge Canal. We're just waiting for this drawbridge to open up in another 8 minutes. So it's exciting. This is the last bridge between us and our friends. And this is delicious, even though I said it wasn't. and you can actually pull us in and get another rope, and we'll tie a second rope to it because that's where most of the pole's going to be.
What's the game plan, Santa Corey?
We're tying off to these pylons here, or these piles. I think they're called dolphin piles because they're just out in the water all by them lonesome. And so we got one tied to the bow, and I'm just going to tie one to the stern to this one here behind us, and hopefully that will secure us well for the night. It's pretty nice and protected in here. The water's really calm, so I wouldn't see why it wouldn't do the trick.
Mission, tying to the Dolphin. There's a bit of wind.
Woohoo! So excited! We're gonna see Mark and Margaret and Tom on our way. Let's go!
And I'm gonna get Corey in here for sure. I got.
Oh God, you don't have that on.
HDR. What's video?
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
We made it to Port Canaveral. It's so different here.
It's like summertime for December 25th. Wearing a skirt and a tank top, it feels kind of weird, but I'm loving this.
No Christmas trees, just palm trees with Christmas lights. And the odd boat that's strung up their lights. Kind of wish we had brought Christmas lights for our boat because we got a tall mast to string them up.
We are heading to our friend's marina for a Christmas potluck. It's gonna be fun! And it's so warm, it's like 26 degrees I think. Loving this!
How's it going?
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Hi Holly, how you doing, young lady?
Sweet potatoes. We're having a bit of a Christmas potluck.
Who's this guy? Who's that guy? Is that?
I was saying it doesn't, it's just so
here, guys.
warm.
I didn't feel like Christmas last year when I was here, but it does now.
Okay. Is this done, Margaret?
Oh, what is this thing?
You just got pouring butter on it.
That's a cheese ball, it looks like to me.
Oh yeah,
Cheese and
yeah, that is
really
Philippine
wrapped
cheese.
in bacon.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it yet.
Lots
It
of
looks
goodies. Project of the day, while it's sunny, is to try to get rid of some of the leaks that we've been having on our port lights. There's two of them that are still leaking. Well, I actually never ended up rebedding them, so that's kind of why. And I don't really want water to come in. And we have some 4200s, so we're gonna take them off and put some new caulking, and hopefully it's gonna solve the problem. So it's kind of a relief when you actually manage to get this part off without breaking it, because those port lights are really old and brittle. So I taped up the porthole in the frame because it makes it a little easier to clean up afterwards. And I'm using some 4000 fast cure UV protection 3M.
Looking pretty.
We're gonna be leak free.
It's crazy how moldy shit gets when you haven't looked at it in a little while. Geez, we put all this away, I guess, a few months ago. And we've been taking off our clothes as we need it. Obviously, we have way too much clothes for the warmer weather now. But yeah, there's just mold, not everywhere, but in a lot of little corners and stuff. So the goal here now is to get rid of all this carpet that's holding all the mold and paint everything. So hopefully we have less mold problems. But yeah, mold is a real issue in these warmer climates. We're gonna have to keep on top of this more often.
Oh, this is disgusting.
Man, look at that mold, eh? Wow.
This is disgusting.
Maybe we should have a mask on. Hold your breath. Having fun in my nook here. Alright. How's the cleanup going?
Freaking mission. There's like dust all over the place. But at least we had the door fully shut down and there was a tarp on the bed which prevented most of the dust from going inside the compartments. But still a little bit that went in. But anyways, I wiped down everything. Really doesn't look good. I'm back. Never. That's not true.
Everything's everywhere. Painting away. Making it look just a little tiny bit better than it was.
Wow.
I don't think it's wow, I think it looks like crud, but whatever.
Looks better.
I have to put a lot of coats on.
It's so hard to dry anything. It's been pretty much 12 hours since the last coat and it's still wet to the touch. There's just so much humidity here. Like ever since we've gotten to Florida, we've just been getting so much rain. It's been raining for the last 2 days and calling for more rain tomorrow. So we're just trying to dry it all so that we can put our bed back together because we're picking up some friends in like 3 days, 4 days. Oy oy oy. So we've got a bit of an issue. This is a bolt for the jib track, but I can't really tighten because it's in the wood without a nut or a washer.
So we got bolts on the inside, fine, whatever. We have bolts on the outside here, but the manufacturing of Hunter is clearly, I mean, at one point, and I'm sure it's the same with a lot of boats, but their tolerances, the way they do things is just ridiculous. Why would you put a bolt here without deciding to put a nut and then try to cover it up with trim and a little bit of teak filler just so you don't have to make an extra cut to actually put a nut on there and make it so it's watertight? Instead, you just sell it as is and expect it to just not be seen because nobody will ever take it apart. So now I'm going to try to gouge the crap out of this so I can get a nut on it because it's useless without a nut. You can't just slap a bolt in there and expect it to stay there and not leak without putting a nut on the other side. Like, how ridiculous are you people? If you can't tell, I'm a little bit frustrated. There seems to be a lot of things going wrong all at the same time, as it tends to happen. We have leaks popping up everywhere for some reason. We fixed 2 or 3 leaks and 5 or 6 appear. So I'm getting annoyed because everywhere I look I see more things wrong and I gotta stop looking at things or just, I don't know. Alright, we got the hole. Now it's time to try to get the bolt. This is the nut on. Let's see. So originally we had these dinky little screws. Actually, these are some that we picked up because we were missing some to hold our gooseneck on. My goal is to get this bigger bolt instead, because there's one on this side, one on the other side, and then one screw down here that keeps falling out. So I'm going to try to replace these little screws with bolts instead, and hopefully it all lines up. I have to drill this hole a little bigger on both sides.
Well, this is the end of our visit with our friends here at Port Canaveral. It's been pretty awesome 5 days, I believe. Awesome Christmas supper and a couple different meals, and it's just nice to meet back up with some people that we knew from back home. But now, time to move forward! So this morning we're gonna go through the lock again before it actually closes for good, because they're doing some maintenance on it. And then we're gonna go in the ICW, because initially we were gonna try to go out to the Atlantic Ocean and just make a 36-ish hours jump to Miami, but the wind's gonna be right on our nose, so that's not working, which is why we're gonna end up in the ICW. But unfortunately that also means that we're not gonna be in Miami for when our friends land over there. So they're probably gonna have to meet us with either a cab or a bus.
I'm so sleepy. Alright, well, we gotta get the boat out of here. Right now we're like right up against shore. Yesterday I set an anchor that way so we could pull our stern over back towards the middle. So then we can untie our stern line that's going to this Dolphin. And then hopefully that will hold their stern out that way, so then we can let out some line, untie the cleat on the bow, and then, well, we'll have the engine running, but then we should be able to pull up the slack on this, get us back into the center, and pull up the anchor, and we should be free of everything. Let's see how it goes. So we've just picked up our stern line that was tied. A bit of chafage on it, which isn't the greatest, but at least it held while we were there. Now I'm just releasing this anchor line a little bit to give us enough room to get to the bow so we can untie that. And then we should be able to pull on this anchor line to get our stern back out and reverse out of here. Hard right now. So the bow is loose. Now we're just pulling us backward so we can pull up this anchor, hopefully, and getting us out of the shallows behind us. Our autopilot controller has been acting funny, not really working, and I'm pretty sure there's some water that got into it, so we're trying to take it apart and see if I can figure out what's wrong with it. This thing's seen better days. It seems like there's a few rusty components inside, and, well, I mean, it's not working. Really, from what I can tell, there may be just too much corrosion on certain little pieces. So we're just gonna swap it out and keep this for spare parts. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I know what's in it now, so I might be able to mix and match parts if we have two that are half working. So as you can see, these are two very different units. And of course, we don't have the plug for this guy. This guy has 5 connections, and our old one, which was the newer version, has only 2. So yeah, this is gonna be a bit fun. We might have to play around here and try to figure out how to hook this up. Well, we've got a bit of a mess of wires here, but it allows me to test because every connection was different, so I had to just kind of MacGyver something up here to make it work, just to actually test it so I don't do all the wiring and then it doesn't work. So it seems like it actually turns the belts, and when I put it on auto, it seems to work. So now it's the fun part of trying to wire it all back up together.
So how's auto?
Well, he's kind of working. I got him wired up temporarily. I guess we gotta call it Jittery Jackson 2.0, but the only one issue that's kind of annoying with it is, well, I guess two issues. It kind of overshoots when you set the bearing, and when I do +1, -1, every once in a while it seems to do +10, -10. And I'm not sure if it's just the buttons aren't lined up right, or if there's something going wrong with it, but at least it's working. I mean, we can't trust it fully, but it's doing the trick for now. At least I don't have to be sitting there behind the wheel the whole time.
So far the ICW in Florida has been a little bit boring, just kind of all the same scenery. But here it's really exciting. We left Port Canaveral this morning and we're heading towards, not sure where actually, doing about 50 miles today. And we just stumbled into this little area which has tons of little islands all over the place. Super cute. There's people even like sitting in the water at a little beach. Really, really nice area, but a lot of shallows around us, so we are by South Grant, and there's Grant Island right behind me. Appetizer time with cream cheese sriracha garlic dipping. Meanwhile, Corey is having fun outside sailing and soaking in all the sun, while I'm down below and doing some editing and trying to clean up the boat while we're driving, because we have quite a few miles to make it to Palm Beach, which is where we're going to be picking up our two friends, Katie and Will. So trying to get the boat kind of clean, you know, and trying to create a bed for them.
Get back down there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's slowing down. Wow. I'm impressed. I'm gonna slow down too.
Want to buy a house here?
No, not really. They're ridiculous. I'm just gonna slow down to let these guys pass. Oh man. Pretty big day today. We did 55 miles. Hopefully it'll eat into tomorrow's day, which was looking more like 60 miles. So we have 5 more miles to do tomorrow. So we might be doing a little bit of ICW in the dark. We don't normally like to do that, but that's what we got to do if we want to get to where we want to get to. But yeah, 55 miles today in 10 and a half hours. Pretty big day.
What's going on beside eating nuts?
I'm just snacking. I'm gonna attempt to remove the fuel filter. I've got this little tray that's hopefully gonna collect most of the fuel, or the diesel fuel that spills out of it. But this is our secondary filter. We also have a water separator. But our engine is having a few issues. One of them is the power isn't all there. It only goes up to 2,500 RPM when it's under load, instead of like 34, or at least 3,000 I should say. So, and there's no black smoke. So from my research, this could be one of the culprits. So I'm gonna start here because it's relatively easy. The fuel filter is quite hard to turn, at least by hand. So what I got here is a screwdriver and the notch, and then just giving it some light taps to get it to unscrew. And now I should be able to turn it, in theory, a little easier. There we go, yeah. So the fuel filter doesn't seem all that dirty. I'm gonna swap it out for a new one anyway, since this is the first time we've swapped it out at all. There's a little bit of gunk down at the bottom, you probably can't see it. Maybe this will solve it, I have no idea. Let's find out. Well, we just finished bleeding the fuel system and it's still doing the same thing, so that doesn't seem to be the problem. But I may have found another culprit. There seems to be a serious, well, reasonable amount of oil getting into the oil filter. So, sorry, it wouldn't be so bad if it was the oil filter. But yeah, as you can see, there's a decent amount of oil in there. So that might be clogging up the air intake and making it struggle more. So I'm going to try taking it off and just running it without for a second and see how it goes.
Welcome to Alex's Galley, the best in the West. So tonight on the menu we have some rice with onions, garlic and coconut oil. I chopped up a bunch of like fresh garlic, fresh ginger, and chopped up some chicken, added a bit of sesame oil, and that's been marinating all day. So we're gonna throw all of this together and add a bunch of veggies in there, and it should be pretty epic. And I cook with my beautiful little Kenyan alcohol stove, which is all pressurized. Are you hungry for supper?
Yeah.
We have a tomato, cucumber and chia seed salad, and here we have like sesame oil, ginger, garlic, chicken with a couple of veggies on a bed of onion rice. I'm hungry. Wanna go out?
Let's go.
We're actually by South Grant Island. That's what it is. No, I lied. South Grant is over there. This is... Hold on. So many boats, it's incredible.
Don't even bat an eyelash at giving you a 3-foot wake.
It's New Year's Eve.
12 hours of motoring.
Huge sentry. We have our friends Katie and Will.
Hi!
Hi! Woo!
The engine keeps stalling.
Those are some nice coconuts you got there, Will.
We are in Vero Beach. I think we're gonna head to Boca Raton.